Hi and welcome back to the Arsenal podcast. Thank you for joining me once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. I'm very glad that you can join me, and I'm also very glad that I can join you today on this show. Transfers for external borders are done, so we'll be looking at focusing on transfers within UK, and of course, you know, guys, we have an international break. There isn't much football to talk about. Basically, what we have to do is talk about the news around the club and those players that could actually move from Arsenal to within the UK, and those players we can sign within the UK. And that's where the question in today's video comes from. If we had to sign one more player from UK, Championship, Premier League, all the divisions in the Premier League, but I think basically it's Championship and the Premier League, who would you want it to be? Would it be Benrahma? Would it be Todd Cantwell? Would you want Jack Grealish? Who would you sign if Arsenal had the opportunity? Or if, of course, we have the opportunity, but if we decided to go back in the market there and look for one other player, in this case, for me, I'm going to choose Said Benrahma. And I think if Arsenal can just open up their eyes, if we can just open up our eyes, I think it just can happen. Anyway, let's get the party started now. Of course, Said Benrahma was linked with Arsenal a couple of 3 weeks ago when we were on the verge of losing the Housemowa deal. So many suggestions came in because we were desperate to get a creative midfielder. The likes of Julian Draxler, names like Julian Draxler came onto the paper. Names like Housemowa were there, of course. Filippo Coutinho was also there among the creative midfielders that Arsenal could look at, and the name of Said Benrahma, Brentford playmaker, also appeared. He scored a very beautiful goal against Fulham in that 3-0 loss, in that 3-0 win actually, against Fulham in the FA Cup, and that is why he has been so much of training and so much. He was linked to a move to Crystal Palace before, but it seems it didn't materialize. He was also linked to a move with West Ham, but it also did materialize. I think the problem is with the valuation. Brentford are asking for around 25 million pounds from the player. He's 25 years of age. West Ham were willing to pay around 18 million for the player, and Crystal Palace also didn't want to meet the valuation of the player, which is 25 million. The question is, can Arsenal just wake up and go for a 25 million player right now? Do we have the funds after triggering a release clause of 50 million euros? Do we still have the financial muscle that can actually go and trigger another asking price of another player in the names of Benrahma? But trust me, if we got Benrahma, there would be so much of change to our midfield. I think Dani Ceballos will drop. Eventually he will drop out of the pecking order, because for me, I think when it comes to the playmaking and all those attributes as a creative midfielder, Benrahma is way too better than Dani Ceballos. Ceballos is not a bad player. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean to say that he's not good enough. I don't mean to say he's not good for us, no, or something like that. He's a good player, and I know we are going to sail through this season with him. We are going to sail through this season, courtesy of his talent and courtesy of his skills and whatever he's going to bring on the drawing board. But I'm saying, if we had a player like Said Benrahma, it would be different. First and foremost, our squad would be bigger. For example, if Mikel Arteta decided not to use Said Benrahma as a starter, and you have a player like Said Benrahma coming off the bench, it would be something awesome. It would be something different. It would be a different Arsenal. It would be different from an Arsenal bench that has Jose Willock waiting to change the game. It would be different from an Arsenal bench that has Nketiah waiting to come on and change the game. It would be different from an Arsenal bench that either has Granit Xhaka because Mohamed Elneny started, or has Elneny because Xhaka started. That's what I'm trying to talk about. Benrahma is better than what we have in the creative areas, in the creative regions. When you look at his statistics last season, you compare them to Dani Ceballos. Even if you compare them to Housemowa, I don't mean that he's that is better than him. But even if you compare, his statistics to Haussema's statistics, or you compare them to any player at Arsenal last season in terms of creating chances, even if it's just this season, he's better than every player we have in that area. And I think he's even better than in terms of statistics, he's better than all the players we were linked with in that area. Because if you look at Felipe Coutinho, he was not a bad player for Bayern. They give him a lot of credit, but you're gonna ask yourself, why did they eventually decide not to stay with him if he was so good like Bayern claim? They went on and signed Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, they signed Marc Roca, they signed Leroy Sané. Why didn't they just pay the money for Felipe Coutinho? That's a big question, right? Still, if you look at Haussema, decent player, nice player, we are in love with the player as fans. We are, Mikel Arteta is in love with the player as well. But the fact is, Benrahma last season has had better statistics, had bigger numbers. His numbers were better than Haussema. He has been playing in the championship. For me, which I think is a lower case, is a lower level league, from the EPL, but I can compare the championship to the French League A. I can compare. There's a lot of competition in the championship. They play so many games. They have they have mixed up games, fixed games, back-to-back games, and he tried to perform as he would. The problem is would Brentford want to sell? Because I think they're looking at an opportunity this season to qualify for the EPL. Last season they nearly qualified, but they missed. So probably this season they would be thinking about qualifying, and that's why they want to keep their best talent. You can see they're clinging so much on Benrahma. They refuse to sell David Raya, who Arsenal wanted as the backup goalkeeper for Emi Martinez. He's a decent goalkeeper, by the way. So I think Brentford might be looking at might be in a simple position Atletico Madrid were in. You give us the money, we shall take it, but our first priority is to keep our player, which is not a crime anyway, because if they came to the Champions League, if they came to the English Premier League, it would even be better. It would be even so bigger, it would be bigger than anything you can expect. But in actual sense, guys, if you look at Arsenal, even if we are playing a 3-4-3, or we are playing a 4-2-3-1, or we are playing a 4-3-3, no matter the combination, no matter the formation, if we have a player like Benrahma alongside Thomas Partey, that's a different Arsenal. That is a different Arsenal from last season. All of us have been throwing this rant every day that why do we go into this a new season with the same team that finished 8th, and probably is changing because now you have almost 3 new players in the squad who can actually give you an impact, not just signings for the sake, but signings that can actually give us a push forward. Willian has something special and natural he adds to the team. I say that and I believe it. Thomas Partey, magnificent midfielder, he has something he adds to the team. Gabriel Magalhaes has already shown us that the defensive problems can be solved by at least to 30% when he is in that centre back. I think we are doing well. Danny Ceballos is in that midfield. He's not so new, but he just renewed his loan. So you look at, we almost have 4 new players in the current season. If now I understand now any Arsenal fan who tells me I want us to finish 5th, I want us to finish 4th, because we have 4 new players into the squad, and it makes sense. Different from last week, different from almost 2 weeks ago when you guys told me that we need to finish into the in the top 4, but our midfield was the same. The same midfield that finished 8th wanted to finish 4th this time without changing anything. Same manager, of course, same manager. Mikel Arteta picked up, from the end of the season, so I don't really blame him. But same midfield, same everything. Wanna finish 4th. So guys, there's so many options. Of course, there. I would go for Benrahma, but there are so many options. If we could afford Jack Grealish, it would be a nice addition. But the truth is, we can't afford Jack Grealish. If only Chelsea could give us Ross Barkley and not give him to Aston Villa, that would have been a murky signing. You can see what Ross Barkley has already added to Aston Villa with Jack Grealish. So it would be a murky signing for me. It would be a big signing, but eventually we didn't get him. Like I said, Grealish is gonna be expensive, very expensive. Even before he had renewed his contract, I think he was around £70 million. That was his valuation from Aston Villa. Right now that he has extended his contract and extended his start at Villa, it's gonna be more expensive. He's English. At times I feel they are overpriced and overhyped as English players, so I might not actually fall for their trap this time. Who else? Of course, people are talking about Todd Cantwell. He has, he was an exciting Norwich player last season. Can we go for him? Where he plays in the number 7 and number 11 row, I think we are pretty occupied. We just need a creative midfielder, and I would just think about Benrahma. I wouldn't think about anyone else. If we can go for Benrahma, he would be a nice addition. Mesut Ozil offered to pay the salary of Ghanasaurus. I think that was quite generous from him, and he says he will be paying it until his contract ends at Arsenal. He has been facing a lot of problems. Mikel Arteta wants to ask him. He's not going to be, in the 25-man squad in the EPL for Arsenal. So there are so many things that you can actually think about. His Adidas lifetime contract was cancelled. He's the outcast at Arsenal. Fans don't like him because he's obviously getting 350k big wages, and he's not doing anything for them. Workers are being laid off. So many things are really happening with Mesut Ozil. But anyway, tell me that player you would want to sign if we decided to go out and sign a player in the 16. Are they even 16? Today is 7th. The window closes on 16th. Actually, I think they are 8-9 days in the in the 8-9 days that we can actually use in this transfer window inside the UK. That player must be coming from inside the UK, because we cannot buy players beyond borders. Have a blessed stay on the